Have you ever felt so threatened that your first instinct was to run?
Even the mightiest can crumble under fear. Let me tell you about a fascinating showdown between one of the most powerful prophets and a ruthless queen. Picture this. Elijah, God's prophet, had just pulled off the most spectacular divine demonstration. Fire from heaven, prophets of Baal defeated, and a decisive victory for God. He should have been on top of the world, right? But then came Jezebel's message. By this time tomorrow, you'll be dead. Now, Jezebel wasn't just any queen. She was notorious, powerful, and had a reputation for getting what she wanted. And here's the surprising part. Elijah, the same man who had just called down fire from heaven, the prophet who stood against 450 false prophets, ran. He ran far into the wilderness, exhausted and afraid. Isn't it incredible how one threat from one person can shake us to our core? Even when we've just witnessed God's amazing power. But here's where the story takes a beautiful turn. In Elijah's moment of despair, God showed up, not in a dramatic display of power, but in a gentle whisper. He reminded Elijah of something crucial. Jezebel's power was temporary. Her threats, her influence, her reign, all of it was just a passing moment in God's eternal timeline. You see, fear has a way of amplifying itself in our minds. It's like a loudspeaker blasting threats and worst-case scenarios. But God's truth? It's like a steady bass note that outlasts every other sound. While Jezebel's threats were loud, God's promises were lasting. And you know what happened? Just as God said, Jezebel's power didn't last. Her threats couldn't derail God's plans. Years later, every word God spoke came true, while Jezebel's threats turned to dust. This story isn't just about ancient history. It's about you and me today. When fear comes knocking, whether it's through people's words, circumstances, or our own doubts, remember Elijah's story. The enemy's threats are temporary, but God's promises, they're eternal. So next time fear tries to make you run, pause and listen for that steady voice of truth. Because no matter how loud the threats may be, God's voice is louder, and His plans for you will always prevail.